You are listening to the realestatePodcast.ca, brought to you by jandc Toronto Real Estate Group.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the realestatePodcast.ca, the podcast that is for anyone and everyone that is interested in real estate, from the general public, investors, enthusiasts, realtors, landlords, tenants, and more. We are real estate for the masses. Before we get into it, our disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent. Okay. So now let's get to it. We are John, Nicole, and Cheryl, the JNC of the jandc Toronto Real Estate Group. And today's fun-filled and helpful topic is the top 5 updates to increase your property's value. And I think that it should be said that this is kind of viewed through the lens of a realtor. What should you do in order to maximize the sale of your home? Now, everybody loves top 5 lists. After all, that does account for about 75% of Blog TO's content, for better or for worse. And my question for you, Nicole, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here.
This is on the spot.
But what are your top 5 favorite foods to enjoy in the 7 minutes between showings in your car?
Cold burritos, hot burritos, a banana.
What? Sushi.
Pepperoni. And that's in the car? That's gross. You have to put soy sauce on it and then ginger. Pepperoni. Jerky.
Jerky, pepperoni, hot burritos, cold burritos.
Well, you know, it's in the car, so. And plus I was really going for a top 5 quick.
And bananas.
And bananas.
Right.
That is the strangest.
You know what?
Delicious.
I think that we should probably have prefaced this with the reason why I asked you that question, because the last episode that we recorded was So You Want to Be a Realtor, and Nicole glamorized it so much. Let's play back what Nicole had to say about burritos from that episode.
Eating cold burritos in your car in the 7 minutes between showings, or
Yeah.
it's a hot burrito, but it's like not good hot. Like I might get salmonella, but I'm so
Like you're gonna get
It's a
salmonella hot.
very glammy episode, that episode.
Yeah.
That was my Nicole.
Everyone's in a great mood, that episode.
Actually, let's ask Cheryl a question. Who are your top 5 ex-boyfriends in no particular order? Because I've always wondered, and I hope I never make that list.
Who are my top 5 ex-boyfriends?
I do it.
Put you on.
Like you mean like who do I hate the most or like the most? in
Well,
the
it's up
past?
to you.
How do you
wanna rank them?
interpret the list?
Okay, we're getting way off topic here. In all serious though.
I feel really awkward right now.
In all seriousness, though, now, folks, let's bring it back to the reason why we're here. Top 5 updates in no particular order to increase the value of your home. Number 1, bathrooms. Number 2, kitchen. Number 3, floors. Number 4, painting. And number 5, light fixtures. So these are not all major renovations. In fact, they are updates. Obviously, kitchens and bathrooms may or may not be a major renovation. I think we want to talk about the fact that not all of them have to break the bank as well. There's different levels of updates that you're going to be doing, and not all as well, and this is very interesting to note, are going to net you a positive return. Unlike all the HGTV shows that you see, the renovation shows where they say, oh yeah, we're going to put this much money in and we're going to get this much back plus
all this other money.
It doesn't necessarily work that way.
I was going to say something along the lines of, like it really is very frustrating to watch it from a realtor's perspective when they're like, value of the home before renovations.
Yeah.
Celebrity List that does this, right?
Yeah.
The renovations cost, and now the value is $50,000 more if you add them all together.
Yeah, there's your profit.
But it
Doesn't always work that way.
rarely is
Yeah.
like that. And then that also leads me to selling Sunset and commission. Anyways, maybe we should cover that next time.
We will. Maybe we will.
Reality show.
Reality show real estate programs. Interesting. We actually did a blog post, and that's what made us do this as a topic for our podcast. And that was the top 5 updates. We're going to link to that in the description.
And we get asked this a lot.
We do. Yeah,
And
what should I
think
do?
we all agree that these are sort of the 5 easiest, because kitchens and bathrooms sell homes.
Absolutely.
And then stuff like flooring, painting, and light fixtures can be relatively easy to do.
Yeah, and they make a big impact on how the
Yes.
property shows.
Yes. And don't even, the painting and light fixtures, your realtor may be helping you with that. There's lots of realtors, we do, that take care of that stuff as part of our listing process. So you may want to have the conversation with your realtor before deciding to do anything at all.
Well, we work as a team, right? So definitely lean on your professionals, your contractor if you have one, your realtor as well, because some contractors may think that this specific type of finishing, for example, marble, veined marble all across the backsplash, the floors. We talked about renovating the renovation. There's a property just down the street from us that's been on the market 113 days. Took it down to the foundation walls and built it up. We were having a look, going, man, what's this property going to look like? And we went in.
Oh, yes.
And there's marble floors on the entire first floor.
And not even nice marble. It's like gray and gold and white.
Did I see it? No.
No, John and I went.
Sounds like
we talked with one of our...
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, we talked with one of our colleagues. We popped into their open house here in Leslieville in our neighborhood, and we talked quite a bit about that property.
It doesn't speak to this crowd
It
at
doesn't.
all.
That's why it hasn't sold. But anyway, let's go to number 1.
Okay.
It's a room that I spent a whole lot of time in, and that is the bathroom. Now, it can be a total redesign to enlarge a bathroom, or as simple as like a new mirror, or freshening up. And this is what we do a lot of times before, if it's a more dated bathroom that hasn't seen a lot of love, just freshening up the grout, cleaning it up, getting rid of the old caulking, putting a nice fresh bead in there can make a huge difference.
I just rolled my eyes in case someone's listening, just because he loves doing a fresh bead of caulking.
Fresh bead. It's got to be a good bead, though. Like none of this sloppy stuff. We see some homeowners will do it themselves, and maybe some are more skilled than
you're
others.
Great at it. We know.
Yes,
thanks.
yes. John does it all the time.
A master caulker, right?
Yes, you are.
And Nicole, you've done your share, listing a lot of properties of getting elbow grease and the nitty gritty, getting rid of it.
Well, John has enlisted me to help with the caulking.
Funny, he's never enlisted me.
I do okay.
You do great.
In a pinch, I'm okay.
And you practice at your own house too.
I practiced at my own house.
All right.
It went good, but then it didn't. The type of caulking you get is important.
It is. Yeah.
Because it didn't live up to Mr. Lee's caulking.
Yeah.
Do we need another podcast on which type of grout in caulking to choose when
So
fixing
interesting.
up your...
How large a bead?
Can
Do
I-
you use
can
a
I
tool?
take us
Do you
on
use
a-
your finger?
Do you use your finger?
Can I take us away from caulking for a second?
Sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you guys. Also, changing hardware. Something very simple to do.
Yeah.
Painting cabinets.
Yeah. Yeah, that we're going to touch on that in kitchen, because those are two big ones that you can do. But you can also do in the bathroom.
It's even less expensive if you do it in the bathroom.
So, Cheryl, what is on your wish list for an updated bathroom?
Me personally,
Yeah.
or to sell?
How about a little bit of each? Well, to sell. If like, sky's the limit, you can do anything.
Storage, everything storage.
Okay.
Oh my God. I mean, design's important, but storage. And for resale, a tub, because first of all, there's some people that just love their baths, but even if they don't love a bath, if it's a family home, they're going to need a bathtub to bathe their child in. So a bathtub is very important. I am big on the design stuff, so I like a feature wall, and whether it be a tile feature wall or a painted feature wall or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Lighting, mood. That's
In the bathroom?
important. Yeah.
Totally.
So we have undermount lighting, but even the lighting fixture can change the look and feel of a bathroom.
And ladies will look for good lighting because you can spend a lot of time doing makeup there, right?
Yes.
What do you think
Or
about
even bad lighting. I want some harsh bad lighting. If I look good there, I look good everywhere.
God. Really?
Kind of, yeah.
You know what? There's
It's
a
like the
couple
opposite of beer goggles for myself.
through rose-colored glasses,
That's
right?
right.
There's two things here I thought one of you might mention. What do you think of, if you have the room for it? Double vanity.
So I am married.
Saves marriages.
I am married to a double vanity. I will squish a double vanity in a bathroom that could barely take it, and people are like, I don't know. I think it's going to be. I don't care. I want 2 sinks.
There's lots of people that say it saves marriage.
I don't want people spitting in my sink.
So that's a big one, ladies. You don't want to be sharing the same sinkhole, right?
Can I say though, when we got our double vanity, I was so excited to show, because you never believed that you were the one splattering on the mirror.
My side was
Right? It was
disgusting.
so disgusting.
So disgusting.
I was like, And we lived there for 2 years. I'm like, I told you, can you clean your sink?
This was our
please?
condo, and then we went into our house, and we bought it. Had the worst, tiniest bathroom ever. But
We didn't share that one though.
no,
You
we
had your
didn't.
own.
I got my own downstairs, which
And-
is still not updated. Hint, hint. Can we update mine now, Cheryl?
A lot of this too, we're coming at, we do work with a lot of buyers, and so we can say, when they go into a home, they see that double vanity, they're like, oh.
Yeah.
Everybody likes it. No one wants to spit in the hole with their husband.
I think even if they don't know, it's about not spitting in the hole with their husband, which I'm pretty sure some people listening don't mind. It
Lies.
looks luxurious to
Yeah.
have that extra sink. So John, I see here you have heated floors, and
Yes.
none of us mentioned it.
I know. It's one of those things when you walk into a property with your buyer clients and you see that there's heated floors, a lot of them go, ooh. It's nice. It's not as expensive to do heated floors as it used to be as well because of the electric under padding, the electric sort of pads that you can use.
And we didn't see heated floors because it's like the first week of October and it's been really warm. If we did this podcast in February, might be like, what do you want? We'd be like, heated floors.
Go to our bathroom right now.
Yeah.
Is it cold?
It's wonderful.
No, we did heated floors.
It's fabulous.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, so that's one thing
Jealous.
that if you have the budget for it, I think that it's
Our bathroom was 2 square feet, so
didn't cost us much.
No.
And then what do you think about toilets? I'm a big fan of the smart toilets. The ones that
it's not a self-cleaning toilet. I just want to say.
it is actually. I looked at the manual.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you because I clean the toilet. It is not a self-cleaning toilet.
Because we haven't put
self-clean.
Yeah, you have to put the product into it too.
Yeah, I think it's more than that, but I find it too loud.
Okay.
Is it Japanese?
Yes.
It is, yeah. For those of you that like South Park, there's a great episode on Randy and his Japanese toilet. But anyway, so that's pretty much it for bathrooms. So next big one, I think, would be kitchen. Some people might put that as number one because, the kitchen is the heart of a home.
If you cook.
Well, not even just for cooking, it's just for people to sit around, entertain.
I have had recently buyers that were just the kitchen, and this was the exception, not the rule. You're right. Usually people, but they were like, meh, kitchen, we don't care. We need a long
house
counter.
buyer or condo?
House.
Oh.
We need a long counter, and if they're listening, they'll know it was them, and they were fabulous, and they're one of my favorite clients. We just need a long counter to put our Uber Eats bags along.
That's why I asked condos, because we have lots of young clients who they do order out more than they cook. We had one client who used their dishwasher as storage, kind of a la Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City. She didn't use her dishwasher, she used her stove. Yeah, I think that generally speaking, we can say that the kitchen wows the pants off of people if it's a nice kitchen. And it does sell houses, I think.
It is. It's one of the more expensive if you're going to do a full renovation, kitchen renovation, but it doesn't have to. If you're just going to update the kitchen, if you've got the really old cabinets, instead of doing all new cabinets, what we've recommended our clients done and what we've facilitated for them is painting the cabinets and putting on new hardware. Yeah. Because if you have that sort of old wood design, if you put nice melamine paint on it, which is a nice furniture paint.
One of our clients painted on their own before even deciding to sell. Remember, they painted it green.
Oh yeah,
that looked amazing. So a lot of people or a lot of realtors you might hear say paint your cabinets white to brighten and freshen it up, but you can, because it's now trendy to do 2 colors or a completely different color. You can do that very easily over what used to be the wood veneer or whatever that was popular in the 90s.
And were they like crafty? Did it look good having had them do it?
Well, that's the thing. Not all clients have the skills to do it. We've had to go in and like basically repair bad paint jobs before.
Yeah, because that can hurt you if it's sloppy, because buyers will notice that it's sloppy.
Yeah.
I do always tell people to try, like, if you can do it yourself and it looks great, it looks great. If you can do it yourself and you screw it up and you have to pay somebody to fix it, but it's the same as if you had paid somebody to do it to begin with.
In the first place, save yourself the time. Yeah.
Oh, you said
I was like, save yourself the time. You're like, give it a try anyway.
Aw, you two are on opposite
different planets.
spectrum.
Yeah.
Different planets. Venus and Mars. Two-tone's actually quite popular right now. We just helped facilitate the renovation. We project managed it. Actually, it's up on our YouTube channel right now. We did a little case study, and we went for two-tone. Green lowers, white uppers. So, you don't have to go all traditional white now. Let's talk about other things you can do. Appliances, really old appliances. Appliances aren't as expensive as they used to be. But what we're seeing, and maybe this is a personal preference for me, is people putting in older kitchens, new appliances that look like old appliances, keeping them white. And I don't know, white appliances to me just screams like 80s, 90s. Unless it matches we've seen a couple times where someone has done a mid-century modern, like very like light wood kitchen, and the new KitchenAid white fridge looks amazing.
It does, but it's a nicely designed white, and it's flat front. Yeah. So, I think appliances do make a difference, in my opinion, if you've got nice new appliances, or if you can see that it's a new appliance, but it's the cheapest Amana brand or something like that.
There is a reason why in our MLS system, when we are loading listings, one of the choices is stainless steel appliances as whatever feature you might have in the kitchen.
Because it's traditionally been one of the more sought after.
Traditionally, if it's white or black appliances, if you've got stainless steel, you've upgraded your appliances.
Yeah.
I mean, now most are stainless steel, and now it's cool to get the black ones and stuff that are like the white KitchenAid.
Yeah. I like the flat fronts and other things that you can consider. And this will also depend on the design of the kitchen, is whether or not to go counter depth. Because fridges are always the most awkward things to fit into the kitchen.
Yes.
A lot of times you'll see a fridge will just be off on its own on one side without any cabinetry around it. And when you go with counter depth fridge, it looks a lot nicer. However, small. You don't have a whole lot of space.
I think that
It's
depends
a very
on the
important
house.
appliance, too.
Yeah. If you're renovating a big house, and we've seen this where people have done the counter depth small in a family house, like, no, put a larger fridge, because they're probably going to have 1, 2, 3 children. It's actually a pet peeve of mine when it's a bigger space and someone puts a really small fridge in it.
Oh, yes.
I hate seeing space everywhere.
The big space on top type thing.
You can
they
tell
use,
it's not custom cabinetry at all.
Or no, they use an apartment. The space is for a regular sized fridge, and they use an apartment sized fridge in there because for whatever reason that's what they had.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just drives me crazy.
Especially post-COVID. A lot of times when we've had that happen, people have been like, well, I had to buy this fridge in COVID. Like, it was this fridge or don't have a fridge.
Yeah. Sure.
So I bought this fridge and now I have it.
Supply chain issues. This was all that was available.
That's my pet peeve, first world problems.
Yeah.
And the small fridge is in the big fridge hole.
I think with appliances that they've come a whole long way in the last 4 or 5 years. You now have, as far as your finishing is concerned, yes, you got the white, the black, the stainless steel, but you've also got the fingerprint proof stainless steel, which is a bit more of a matte finish, which is awesome. The flat fronts, which are cool. Does it? Depends on how much grease and crap I have.
Okay, so to that point, I think we should maybe do a podcast on appliances because we're getting off on a tangent here. But the fingerprint proof, the one that we have, you cannot see fingerprints.
It's amazing.
Unless the light is hitting it a certain way, and I'm like,
John.
or I see food stuck on. That's more.
I mean,
Actually,
if you
that's
had
what I see
dirt
more.
on your
That's
fingerprint.
more what I see is dirt
Yeah.
or food versus actually, because our old one wasn't fingerprint proof, and it made me insane.
Okay. Yeah. Let me just a couple other quick things with regards to new appliances. Ranges would typically have the back wall sticking up where all the controls are. Now they have the full flat tops where the controls are at the front, which I kind of like. And then sinks as well. People love the new double sinks, the
sinks
deep
are
sinks, the
big.
farmer
Deep
sinks.
Yeah, deep
a little
sinks.
bit more desirable. And your faucet.
Can I add? So sinks are a very preference thing, right? Like, we want a nice sink, but what's a nice sink? So what would you prefer? A big farmhouse sink, a double sink, or
single sink?
pick
Do you
your
use
own
a
sink?
sink?
What's your favorite sink?
Deep doubles.
And why is that?
I don't know. I do the dishes for the
Okay.
most part.
Good
Doesn't
answer.
splash
Good answer.
around.
Good answer.
Doesn't splash around
do you
as
prefer?
much.
I want a double.
Yeah.
Because same thing. I want to be able to dry the dishes that I've hand washed in the depression. Right now I have a single sink, and so you have to dry the dishes on the side, and then I don't put them away for 4 days,
then it looks
I don't like the way that it looks, and I got all this. But those big anyway. But
So double
the end.
sinks for people who clean. I say a deep sink, whether it's double or single, because you can hide dirty dishes in there. Because if someone's coming over and you don't have time to do whatever or anything, you can hide anything in there. Yeah, throw it in the sink and no one can see it.
Clear your countertops. Makes it look better.
Don't ever look at my sink.
It's all in there, and trying to run the water, and you've got meat falling in there, and
Meat.
there's a sponge.
We should do a
Where's the
podcast on
sponge?
how much you two love meat. Anyways.
All right, let's get back on topic. Kitchen, anything to add before we move on to number 3?
You have backsplash here.
Oh yeah,
Do you
backsplash
think that's
is
important?
I do, because personally, if you're going to do a backsplash for selling, make it kind of neutral, or do something that's on trend. Honeycomb. You can also do herringbone. Cheryl's pet peeve is like the stone, different shaped rock type stones that get all the dust on them.
So
For a
dirty.
kitchen as well, you wouldn't want to do that. So, subway tile is kind of nice and simple. Sometimes people are using the large tiles.
The hex tiles.
Yeah, hex tiles are great. Yeah.
I think if you pick a nice tile, it doesn't cost that much more than, say, a subway tile, which is kind of cheap, and it looks way better. The wow factor you
That's
can get
almost
out of
like your
it.
feature wall right there.
Yes.
It's your backsplash.
However, if you're doing vanilla that everyone's going to like, subway tile fits the bill for everybody.
It does.
Because it's classic, right?
You're right. I have subway tile in every single house, so I'm super over subway tile.
You're just jealous because we have penny tile.
Oh yeah, yeah, you do.
Entire kitchen's almost penny tiles.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is floors. It is not always the cheapest to do. It depends on the material you're using. I wanted to put this in because when we go into look at people's properties to get ready to sell. When we're doing our comparative market analysis, one of the things we pay attention to is the floor. What's the material? Is it matching? Is it in really rough shape? Because buyers are immediately going to go in there and be like, oh, I'm going to have to redo all the floors. Or, if it's been done 2 or 3 different times over the decades and you've got vinyl in one, you've got, parquet in the other.
Can I make a comment here? I think more important than the material, because some people can't afford an engineered or a hardwood floor. They only can afford a vinyl or a laminate.
Yep.
It's the consistency in the house more than anything. And there's lots of homes that don't have matching floors. But if you can afford to do them all the same, it makes a difference.
It does. Yeah, and I think that it will help to increase the value of your home on sale if you do that update. And if you're to do that update, not everyone has an unlimited budget. There's some decent vinyl products out there. It is the cheapest. And there's
most resilient.
It is the most resilient, and there's
I quite like it. Yeah,
it's good for pets, good for basements. But there's cheap vinyl, and then there's more expensive vinyl.
Yes, the nice newer vinyls that look like wide plank flooring. Some of them are quite good.
They have
it's quite
different
a good
designs.
option.
It can look like tile, it can look like wide plank flooring, it can look like laminate. Next up would be laminate. With regards to cost, and a lot of people, and there's a wide variety of laminate. There's cheap laminate, and then there's laminate sometimes that you can look at that you're like, is this wood?
Yes.
Is this not wood?
I've had to touch it a few times.
Condos are a big one because there are some condo projects where you can walk in and you know right away that the builder used the least expensive laminate. And there's times when we go in and you know it's laminate. And
it starts to curl up at the corners.
But there's times when you go in and you're like, this is really good laminate. I'm not even sure. Is this engineered hardwood? I think that also with laminate more than wood, but also wood, the trends. Like you can tell when a house has been done because small planks and the regular shiny hardwood, and now everything is matte, and gray laminate was like that grayish color was really popular, but now it's starting to look dated. So white oak has been popular for the last couple of years. So I think that also, if you want to make sure your house is you're opening up yourself to the biggest buyer pool, do something that's trendy but also classic that is going to last more than a year or two.
Yeah, there's people that have spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on their renovations in the 90s, and you can just tell because it might be hardwood floor, but it's very thin plank, and it's like this rosy red or whatever, whatever's trendy at the time.
Can I go on a slight tangent? Sure. I've had a few clients in the last year that have bought places with not great floors, and they've gone and they've pulled up carpet or whatever it is and refinished
the original?
Maybe it is really good quality. It looks so great. I've had people take paint off of it. I've had people pull up carpet and it was just destroyed under there, and they've had someone come and sand it down. Yeah. It's relatively cost effective. They replace the ones that are damaged. Right. And it looks fabulous. It looks 10 out of 10.
Some people look for that. They're like, oh, I wonder if it's original floors underneath that, and they want to pull it away. One thing that we've seen in some of these century homes where there is original floors is the fact that they secured them down with nails. And it's one of my pet peeves.
Oh, is it?
Where you hear the squeaks, There's something about like a solid, and I prefer hardwood or even engineered hardwood if it's the top layer is very thick. You can even sand it down multiple times and refinish it if they get gouged or anything like that. But if it has these big squeaks, it just drives me nuts. So
I like the squeaks.
You do? She's a traditional
person. Oh my God,
now.
you guys are so opposite.
I know, we should so not get married.
Venus and Mars. I mean, also because...
Yeah, it's just kind of weird.
Because it'd be weird. Mine.
Yeah.
Weird.
But it's funny that sometimes people will go ahead and do a new floor, and if they use a contractor that doesn't put a new subfloor down or just puts it right down on a subfloor that's being held down with nails, then you're putting a new floor down on something that's already squeaking. I think it's important if you personally redo your floors, make sure you screw the subfloor down, use glue and screws if you can, and then just has that real solid feel. It's those things that buyers walk through and they're like, I don't know what it is about this house, but it feels really solid, right?
We do hear that.
But at the same time, think about there was a house that we offered on in the Beaches, and every single floor squeaked. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the neighbors could hear them. Yeah. But it was an awesome house.
Yeah, all original. Yeah. Like just stunning, gorgeous. And it had been very well maintained.
And it was renovated in some areas, but the floors were very squeaky and people loved it.
Because
they
were original floors, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So if you're going to be doing a lot of these updates and you have a little bit more of a character home, try to keep the character if you can. It's another thing that we talk about.
And that is about the largest buyer pool versus, whether or not we like character. We just find that in Toronto, because this might not be the same in Mississauga or Markham.
Or New Brunswick.
right? Like there is a lot of Toronto buyers that are looking for that century home, that character. So things that do have character, try to keep some of it, don't try to erase all of it. But there's also buyers who like the clean, modern aesthetic, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
But if you have character, don't get rid of it just for the sake of getting rid of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Strip away the soul of a home.
I mean, there are some ones that have been stripped away of souls and still have new souls.
Yeah.
What?
Anyway, let's go on to number 4. Let's talk about painting. I think this is the biggest difference maker as far as an update. If you're going to sell your home, make sure that it has fresh paint, because buyers walk in, they see gouges, they see, rough scuffs. They see, colors from the 90s. Every room painted a different color.
And can
that's
I point
nostalgic
out,
in a bad way.
Yeah.
there's 2 things that I think buyers notice too right away, like especially the entryway where there's a lot of scuffs where people have taken shoes off, and that will go for baseboards as well, and under desks.
If you look under Nicole's desk and my desk, we're kickers. What can you say?
But we've seen this multiple times, and
yeah.
we've painted and we've used magic eraser to get rid of the kick marks, because you walk in and you notice it if you're looking for that. If you're on the market and you want that clean, I'm ready for my big day moment from your room or house, then those kinds of things matter. And it's a very easy fix to
It
just
is.
Well,
paint.
that's what I was going to say. Pound for pound, that is the best, most cost-effective
You get the biggest return.
update. That's going to give you the most
Yeah,
return.
absolutely.
Would you guys say paint white? Because a lot of people say paint it white and let someone else imagine what they want to do.
I think that if you go all white in some kinds of properties, it can feel clinical. Like if you have like an all white and brand new kitchen, and then light floors, and then all white paint everywhere, and
good
like
way to
white,
say it, clinical.
it feels like you're walking into a
Those
hospital.
have no soul.
That's
Yeah,
true. It's
mental
true.
institution.
Yeah.
Another thing that if you are the kind of person who thought it was a good idea in the 90s to have an orange room, a purple room,
I did.
a black
What
room.
color was yours?
I had all of those.
Yeah.
I had a green room, a purple room, a dark brown room.
Here's the thing. If you go white, it's going to be primer and probably 3 coats. So it's about what is your budget.
Okay, so you're saying if someone did have a very colorful house, if you want to paint it white, that it might be expensive.
It would be expensive, yeah.
But would you both agree that there have been homes we've been in, maybe ones that have a little bit more character or staged really well, or a little unique, and it's all white and it looks awesome?
Yeah, sometimes for sure. You know what we're seeing as well is in some rooms painted all like really dark charcoal.
I love that.
And
Right?
some rooms,
I've always loved that.
traditionally you'd say don't paint it because it makes it feel smaller. Don't paint in dark colors, but it can work in certain environments.
It's homey.
Yes,
Yeah.
and cozy.
Comforting.
And there was a house we just sold last week, and they had navy grass cloth wallpaper, but also did all the baseboards in the same color, and it felt like a cocoon for your sleep.
Yeah.
So I didn't notice that in that house. They painted the baseboards
Yes.
that same color?
Yes.
Oh, I loved that room. That
And-
room is my
And the
heart room.
walk-in closet, all of the drawers and stuff were the same color. Like they did it very monochromatic, and then just did curtains and pillows and whatever.
And the curtains were orange, and I love that too.
the navy and
I
orange.
really loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's,
I think about it at night.
Against the grain, but it really worked for that property.
Yeah. To my question about the white walls, I noticed that you have feature walls in here. So
Yes.
what do you two think of feature walls?
What I really like that John Paulson's been doing recently is the wallpaper feature walls.
Oh God.
I think it's
John Paulson
and it
and
doesn't
Cheryl,
always
by
go
the
that
way.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But when it's done,
If it's done properly,
it's my
good
new thing.
wallpaper.
Yeah.
I would say the majority of homes now are not doing full rooms like we used to do in the 80s. They're doing just the feature wall in this wallpaper. I mean, we just said that there was grass cloth in that one room, but that was a very special design feature. But if you can do like an entry wall, or maybe a wall in a child's room or something like that in a very fun wallpaper, it is dramatic.
Yeah, it adds character to
Yes.
the house.
Yeah.
It's it gives it personality.
Yep.
And it makes the property stand out a little bit from the other properties out there. And I think because so many people are shopping online, if you have a really dramatic feature wall with some nice contrasting colors, be it a couch or some art or a mirror, then it's attention grabbing.
It's photogenic, but also in person, it looks great.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you think more and more realtors are now picking up on this? And we've seen it really in the last couple of years, many people doing this. Do you think it's starting to get a little washed out or a little oversaturated, the whole
Little
feature
overdone.
wall.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think more people are doing it. Yeah, it's just becoming more commonplace and less special, but I still think it makes a property look better.
but don't you think that maybe you have to pick and choose if a property needs it or not?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Not every property. Don't do it just because I have to have a feature wall. Just make sure it fits in with the motif and the feel of the property.
vibe, yeah.
Yeah, the vibe. All right. So, and I also want to touch on painting the outside of a home. Because we've talked with a couple of our clients with potentially refreshing the color of their house to make it a little bit less dated, perhaps, give it a little bit more curb appeal. And I think it can be worthwhile, but depending on the size of the house and what you're going to be doing, it can be cost prohibitive.
Does make a huge difference to curb appeal, though. I'm remembering the house I live in now, the exterior used to be yellow and red.
Oh, lovely.
That porch, and above the windows, and then like replaced all the windows, everything. So now they have black trim, but it's still. And then a few years ago, we painted it the two-tone gray, which is getting a little worn now. But people stop and look at it and say like, "We love these dark
Striking.
grays."
As well, if you're trim and your windowsills on the exterior, they weather very easily. You know, to sand those down and give them a fresh coat of paint, I think adds a lot to the curb appeal.
I think where you will see the biggest exterior painting changes is when it is like somebody has painted old brick, like an older, like yellow or red or orange or whatever, or stucco, like that light brown khaki stucco is not cool anymore, but black or white stucco or gray stucco is very cool. So that modernizes everything.
What are your thoughts? And this is a divisive subject, I think.
Divisive. I mean, you can say divisive.
Divisive. What about painting brick?
Yeah, I mean, your house is painted brick.
Yeah.
No,
it's not.
it's the porch
Yeah, not the brick.
and the window frame.
Because
Well, that's what I was talking about with the yellow and red. I'm thinking about all those ones near Trinity Bellwoods that are like, and the paint starts to peel and stuff too, right?
and if you have that beautiful, well, it depends on the kind of brick you have. You've got the rosy brick or the traditional red brick or the 90s
Honey
brick,
brick,
honey.
pink
Yeah.
brick.
I do like the painted brick. If you do it well, once again, maybe you'd need someone.
We're seeing
you have
a lot
to
of
be
people-
very good with color.
People's doing it white with black trim. It can look quite striking.
Oh, like my heart house in Leslieville when they redid that house.
Yeah.
And
Some painted, so you just asked what we thought of it. I think some painted brick looks amazing, and I think it depends on the brick underneath. If you have like an old Victorian with beautiful red brick, like please don't paint it. Like it looks striking with the, a red brick house with black windows.
Yeah.
And, we know that is a very popular curb appeal and look. But if you have, pink bricks, a la the suburbs, and you want to try and modernize your house a little bit, then hey, paint it, because that'll work.
Yeah. And I wonder if, because so many people did go with white brick in 10 years' time, is that going to look dated?
Maybe.
Never know.
Get rid of the paint and paint it the new
Yeah,
color.
sandblast it.
Yeah.
Again, cost to everything, so
Yeah.
you got to keep that in mind. Let's move on to our final of the top 5 updates to increase the value of your home, and that is new light fixtures. First impressions. When you walk into a house and you see a boob light, the builder's boob light, or a really dated and dusty and rusted light fixture. Rusted, yeah.
Yeah, you would know because you take them
I'm the
down.
one that takes them all down and changes the lights. I think it's a great value add to have new light fixtures. Doesn't break the bank in many cases, and it's a giveaway for datedness if you have the really old light fixtures. And also, it's how bright do you want the property to be when you walk in for the first impressions. If a property doesn't have a lot of windows, you're going to want to make sure that you have a light fixture that casts just the right amount of light.
I think it's also one of the clues on cost, like those boob lights. I don't even know what they
$10,
are, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you see one in a
$15,
house, it's sort of like, well, if they put in that cheap light, what else was cheaped out on? And if everything else is nice, have they renovated that? It always makes me.
I think that it's only been maybe in the last decade, not even, where people started to pay more close attention to lights, and there's been way more lights to choose
Yeah.
from. I think that maybe a decade ago, everybody had boob lights.
And when we say boob lights, we mean the half dome light with the
the
little
screw-on nipple.
in the middle. Yes,
Yeah.
what he said. But
Okay.
Beep!
Well, they look like boobs, so
Yeah, but they also they're not flattering, they're not very fashionable, they're not trendy.
Yeah.
They just do their job, which is to light up the hallway or the bedroom or whatever it
barely
may be.
even. They illuminate, I guess.
That
the
is a
wall.
light bulb, Nicole. Don't blame the light, blame the light bulb.
I know, the boob light tends to have a crappy
But
light
I
bulb
think
in
about
it.
even when we started in real estate, how much this whole light fixture thing has changed.
Sure.
You know, there is way more choice and way more affordable choice now than there was even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think that is something, maybe social media and Instagram and stuff has something to do with this, where
People are more in tune to
Pinterest.
design.
Yes. Because remember the days, we're talking about even like the outside of a house. Do you remember the days when you bought the house because you could afford it and it was like comfy inside and your family, you didn't necessarily go in and renovate something. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And now we talk about the renovations, and we talk about changing the way things look, and a lot more than we did. And it makes me feel kind of like we all have all this money like to throw around. Lots of people don't have money to do this stuff.
Yeah. But you can get, I think, stylish light fixtures, even from IKEA. You know, we see a
Yes.
lot of those around for under $100.
Wayfair and
Yes.
Amazon have changed the game. And actually, IKEA was the first one, I think, that had trendy, cool lights for inexpensive prices. But now Wayfair and Amazon have upped their game. And there's lots of, when we've bought lots of great quality lights for very inexpensive prices from those websites.
Now, with lighting, I also want to talk, because LED's kind of been the way to go. Now,
This has changed as well just in the last
oh yeah,
like 5
yeah.
years.
Well, it's just so much more cost effective for you, the amount of energy that you're using. And initially, when the LEDs first came out, they didn't really have a selection of color temperatures. And I found that most LED lights were very cool, like daylight. And we talk cool, it's like more of a blue light than
Not
kind of
good
a
for
warm
bathrooms.
light. Well, I just think we talk about having a property that feels clinical.
Yeah.
If they've got the LED lights that are a really cool color temperature, it feels like you're at the operating theater.
It really does feel like you're at the operating
Yeah, or like a weird grocery store.
Fluorescent.
Yeah,
It's
fluorescent.
reminiscent of fluorescent.
It is,
Yes.
yeah.
Say that 5 times
There's
fast.
no, like, you know how people put on just their lamps at night to feel cozy and
Yeah.
to set that atmosphere. LEDs did not set an
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Well, and now you can choose between daylight,
Yeah.
soft, and warm.
Yeah, I like that it's changed.
Yeah. So I think that if you want to set the tone as soon as you walk into a property, to have kind of like a warmer or softer light, albeit brighter, is very important.
Do you remember when we could buy light bulbs for 99 cents?
Yeah, Dollarama, you still can. It's one of the only places that still sells incandescent bulbs as
I'm
well.
fine with LED, actually prefer,
Yeah.
environmentally, but
Yeah, for sure.
boy, has the game changed a lot, kids.
Sure has. I want to talk about matching the style of the light fixture to the property.
Yeah.
Because if you're selling your old Victorian and you have a little bit more, beautiful moldings and wood trim and exposed brick, you're
don't
probably not going to go with something that's super modern.
Cold
Yeah,
Scandinavian
exactly.
style, yeah.
Whereas if you have a really funky condo with 10-foot ceilings and floor-to-ceiling windows and concrete everywhere, then you probably want to go with something that matches a little bit. And a lot of times what we also see is in these flips, you can tell what was on sale at Costco or Home Depot. So the crystal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the crystal.
It's a giveaway. Again, it's a personal preference. Some people like them.
I was going to say, we sound like we're being all like crystal.
Some people like that stuff.
But some people do. But it is something, because of the cost, that we find that flipper contractors will often use. And then it makes all these flipped houses look exactly the same.
Yeah. Cookie cutter.
Cookie cutter flips.
You bet. And so that kind of rounds it out, the top 5 updates to increase the value of your home. Once again, this has been looked at through the lens of a realtor, actually a realtor and 2 brokers, or 3 realtors, however you want to describe it. And
That was a burn.
I know, it wasn't really burning either, Cheryl.
I'm the smartest. Come on.
Of course. So let's talk a little bit about takeaways. Is there any takeaways you ladies want to talk about?
Like that we learned from each other here?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, the takeaways of, okay, so we were trying to bring you value
Yeah.
listening to the podcast today. So we've narrowed it down to some things, depending on your budget, that you can do to get your house ready, looking its best to sell it, or to update it, even if you wanted to just live in it,
Yeah.
right? So the takeaway is that we know kitchens and bathrooms sell, and they're also both kind of the heart of the home.
Yeah.
Bathrooms
They're
are.
usually the most expensive to update.
And they're the ones where we
Most
spend the
frequented.
most time.
Yeah.
Flooring is something I would say that probably at the bottom of the list, because painting and light fixtures are really easy changes.
Yeah.
You can express your personality with painting and light fixtures.
And the caulking.
Don't forget the caulking in the
That's
bathroom.
part of
That was part of the
bathrooms.
bathroom.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting. I was waiting for my chance to talk, and I wanted to say
I was doing a bigger overall
Sorry.
takeaway.
I'm sorry.
But your takeaway is caulking? Awesome.
I've got a couple here. Not all updates require big dollars, a lot of expenditures. You also want to update your property according to whether or not you're looking to sell. Obviously, if you're updating it and this is your forever home, by all means, do shag carpet throughout, including the bathroom, if you're into that.
I mean, don't put carpet in the bathroom. Don't listen to John. John, do not give design tips. But I was going to say something to this. If you are, because there's people like, I spent $200,000 on this and I should be able to get it back. Have you lived in it? Have you enjoyed it? You know, it might not be the taste of someone else, so you might not get that $200,000 back. But if you lived in it and enjoyed it, then it was probably worth it for you.
But we were talking more about getting it ready for market, the most bang for your buck, and the top 5 things that you should do to increase the value of your home.
Were you trying to like burn me there?
Trying to summarize your summary.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
I'm not trying to burn you ever.
I mean, the broker thing was a burn.
All right, then that's it, folks. Those are the top 5 updates, according to John, Cheryl, and Nicole, to increase the value of your home, to help you get your home sold quicker and for more. Before we leave you, we want to shout out a local business, as we always do. And because it's Tuesday today.
Taco Tuesday!
It is. Every day is Taco Tuesday. If you go to Puerto Bravo, it is just down the street from us. It's on Girard near Ashdale. And it is, in our opinion, probably, we're going to do top 5 tacos. We've been talking about doing that forever.
Let's do a podcast on all top 5 foods.
And these guys are absolutely fantastic. They were given a Bib Gourmand by the folks at Michelin. It's affordable. It's delicious. If you haven't tried them yet, it is Puerto Bravo. And they are fantastic.
John is a taco connoisseur too. So he's tried many a taco before giving you this recommendation.
I'm a big fan. So top of the list right
John
there.
loves the tacos.
All right, so thanks so much for joining us. As always, you can find us at therealestatepodcast.ca. You can also follow us on all of our socials. Check out our YouTube as well. They're all at JNC Toronto Group. Thanks, ladies.
Bye. Thanks, John.
You have been listening to therealestatepodcast.ca. Visit our website for more episodes and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at JNC Toronto Group.